If you are somebody who knows anyone going into tertiary, do not allow them there until you are sure that they will be reformed and not deformed. Hello there, my name is Ebenezer Agbequest, the author of this book called Reformed or Deformed, a complete guide on living in tertiary fruitfully and graduating without regrets. If you know anyone who is still in tertiary, especially in their early years, or you know anyone who is going into first year this year, I want you to share this video with them, because I'm going to be talking to you about some of the poisonous myths or pieces of advice that they will receive, which they must restrain from and turn their minds away from. Otherwise, it's going to affect them academically very badly. I'm extracting them from the second chapter in this book called First Year Myths and the Popular Poisonous Pieces of Advice. Number one is the idea that there is no competition in tertiary school. They say it in a way that makes it look like you don't need to struggle for anything, you don't need to fight for anything. You just have to live the way you need to live, because after all, there is nothing like competition. Whatever grades you get, it's your own cup of tea. There is no competition, and this is false. For one, I have seen so many people get awards in school for excellent performance. Why do people get awarded if there is nothing like competition? If there is nothing like competition, why are there grading systems where there is somebody who gets first class, second class upper, second class lower, pass, and the rest? There is competition, and believe it or not, there are people who graduate from school and get accepted for certain positions and jobs and roles because of their high academic performance. Other people have brilliant transcripts that get them scholarships to study in universities for postgraduate studies abroad, and these are just enviable. A while ago, I published a story on yen.com Media Limited about two students. One was the best economics student of their graduating batch. One was the best accounting student in their year batch, and they met in the United Kingdom, where they were having a moment of their lives being employed at two of the best financial institutions. Interestingly, what they said was that school may not be scam after all. You see, because the idea that academic performance is irrelevant is rampant, particularly among first years. This is something you will hear. So this is something I tackled in this book, and I would like you to take away and refrain from. There is competition, and you better be the head and not the tail. The second idea you will hear is about wicked records of some particular courses or some lecturers in school. And believe it or not, many of these are false. From personal experience, there were some lecturers who were tagged wicked, who were tagged, oh, no matter what you do, you will not pass their courses. And their courses became the average boosters. We call them average boosters because you attain the highest grades in those courses, and it helps your overall GPA or CWA. You see, they are false. Allow none of those ideas to get into your head. When you are in your first year especially, you hear a lot of these things, and you must make sure that you tackle every course without any prejudice, and make sure you make the best out of it. You'll be surprised that some of these courses that are tagged with the notion that they will pull you down, rather pull you up. So forget about them. They are poisonous advices. Throw them out. The next thing you will hear is that your grade does not count on the job market. A lot of people create a notion that these days getting employed has to do with the people you know, the connections you have, the networks you are able to build, and it has nothing to do with your GPA or CWA. So what is the need? Better focus on relating with people, creating friends, knowing people, rather than focusing on getting a good average. And this is not true, because research has shown that, and I've seen it personally in the workspace. When I was having my internship, for instance, we were asked at the company I was to go for applications, CVs that had come in for job, and we were asked to select only those who were first class students or second class upper. A lot of jobs around the world still accept and prioritize people who have first class and second class upper. It is true that these days experience is being considered and your skills are being considered. But if you can attain good skills in school as well as good grades, it will be better than attaining good skills and bad grades. And it will be better than attaining bad grades and bad skills. So, at the latter part of the book, I talk about getting the skills you need. That is another chapter. But in this place, I create the idea and I am telling you that do not take your academics for granted, because it will still matter in most of the cases on the job market, and it will help you because it is still prioritized on many job applications. The next form of poisonous advice you receive is that, oh, you just start well and that is it. This idea comes from the notion that once you start off on the right foot, that is with a high average or GPA, the rest becomes easy. But it is not true. The GPA or CWA you will graduate with is the average of all the CWAs you have attained. For instance, you have 8 semesters. If your CWA for your first year is, let's say, 80, and for the rest is 60, you will graduate with an upper. Why? Because your CWA is an average of all the CWAs you will attain in school. So don't be deceived. You are supposed to record high averages in each semester. There are people who I know started off on the right foot and came back down because of this idea, and it is false, it is poisonous. So make sure that you train yourself right from first year. It is important to start well, because when you start well, you already have the confidence that you've done it before. You can repeat it again. You already built yourself with the habits that you need to record high grades as your days go by in school. So start well. By all means, start well, but continue well and finish well. This is the part that you are not told, and I am here to tell you, you are supposed to start well, continue well, and finish well. Another one I called a vim killing excuse is the idea that machines work. I studied engineering in school, so when it was time for us to go manual with the calculations and understanding the theories behind the things we were learning, many people will say, oh, these ones, when we go to the job market, machines will do all this. We don't need to manually calculate. And it is true, machines will do the work. But this idea is sent out in your mind to kill your vim against your studies. And in this book, I said, why would you think machines will work when people are designing the machines and programming them to do the work? This idea makes it look like, oh, you will always be at the retail side of the machine, always be at the operation side of the machine, and not the creative part of it. So it is not something you should take for granted. You should understand how the methods work, and it is important, because if you want to become the real engineer and be the real person who invents and engineers these machines to do the work, you should understand these formulas. You should understand, and it doesn't have to do with engineering alone. You should understand the theory behind everything that is practiced. So it's important to learn. Don't take any of these excuses. These are vim killers. And as I said in this book, vim killers are dream killers. So don't allow them to put these things in your mind and prevent you from studying. Start well. You're supposed to start well. And how to start well is to focus on your books and learn them very well and continue that process till you finish school. Although there are other things you are supposed to attain apart from your academics, and I create all that notion in this book called Reformed or Deformed. And by the way, everything that I've told you is just from the second chapter, just an extract from the second chapter. The first chapter talks about harmful pre-tertiary dogmas that you need to get rid of. The second one, which we looked at, is the first year myths and the popular poisonous pieces of advice. The third one talks about general truths you must know about tertiary life. And it's 10 chapters in all. Chapter 4 is the crucial mindset and habit adjustments you must undergo. Chapter 5 is keys to getting a first class and maintaining it. Chapter 6 is pursuing your passion regardless of your program. Amazing. Chapter 7, entering a relationship. Chapter 8, managing your finances. Chapter 9, preparations for a fulfilling life after tertiary school. Amazing. Chapter 10 talks about the role God plays and how to get Him involved. By the time you read this book and you live out this book, you will be graduating on a pedestal that is high above what the average person graduate with, and what many people who are even above average graduate with. You will come out as a complete package ready to tackle the world. And that is what the essence of this book, Reformed or Deformed. And I have a special offer coming up. Just follow me on social media, Ebenezer Agbequist or Eqay Inspire. You will get updated and you might even get this for free. So I wish you all the best. My advice is come out reformed and not deformed. And if you are somebody who knows anyone going into tertiary, do not allow them there until you are sure that they will be reformed and not deformed. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.